the right-wing news does. Um, just really interesting things, guys. And but we're gonna do some talk a little bit about Jimmy Dore. Always a hot topic, and just saying his name will probably get the algorithm on this blocked and completely ignored. But I had a criticism. As a big fan of Jimmy Dore, he has been letting some people on the show that do not exactly give off the best messages, and he's not correcting them. He's letting the Corona narrative be his only narrative, and he's missing out on things. So the first video here, I'm going to try to make this so it's not on the recording but on the live stream, because I want to do this as a clip, and I'm going to clip it in properly. So we'll see how this works.
They fund it. They don't just split up all the money in the state equally. Watch how they do it. Watch this.
Oh,
can you stop sugar cravings? According to the Mid-America Heart
there
Institute,
we go.
sugar is more addictive.
Great.
Watch this.
Capitalism.
Another major theme in this policy document is education. And the wording in here...
Very exciting announcement today. Opera GX.
Are you
I
serious?
love this browser. I'm so glad they reached out to me. So this is an internet browser.
Here I find quite interesting. The Democrats say, quote,
The document is the 2020 Democratic Party platform.
we must provide world-class education in every zip code to every child because education is a critical public good. They use this word zip code to represent the fact that in America, schools get their funding based on the real estate taxes of the houses within that school district. The more expensive the neighborhood, the more funding goes to the school. So over here in Illinois, which is like the quintessential liberal state, there's this one county that contains the city of Chicago. It's called Cook County. The residents here voted overwhelmingly for Democratic candidates in the presidential and senatorial elections last year. Often what would happen is that this would just be one big school district, and that all the taxes from all the towns in this county would be put into one bucket and distributed equally throughout the county.
That's
But
not
the
what
residents
happens.
of this very blue Democratic county have actually decided to divide themselves into more than 140 school districts. So now you have all these tiny school districts like this one, which are like gerrymandered around the richest part of town. And so all
This
of the
one.
taxes from these
So-
rich...
We're gonna stop it there, because that one, first of all, this guy is just going off about partisan issues. He's making this whole thing partisan. This is not a partisan fact. Just talk about it in straight black and white. Instead, he's got to be partisan. The thing he goes to right away, of course, I just absolutely love. I did a little research. I did some due diligence, and it's this county here. That very, very pristine schooled county is it is Rosemont County. Wait, just double check on this. Village of Rosemont. It is a very red area. It is the only red county in the area. So that liberal push is interesting because it's represented by a Republican in the state, which is where you get all of your school money. So that very pristine schools is around a bunch of Democratic run areas, and they're not doing so well, but the Republican area is doing very well. But he's making it look like the Democrats are making this. So he's making it partisan, and I did a fact check, and that's not the situation. That is not what just happened there. And it took me half hour to dig through the guy, dig through his information. Call it crap. Call it just, and I know Chicago is mostly Democrat, but all you had to do is, if he's going to example it, that example should be partisan, which it's not. It's against his exact theory, and he's making an issue partisan when it can just be about schools. It can just be about we need to fund things, but he had to make it a partisan issue, so I want to attack it, and Jimmy let it go. If you're going to platform the guy, at least just call out something on him. I don't know. Here's the next one.
Eyes and deaf ears to uncounted numbers of girls raped and abused in Rotherham and other towns all over England for fear of upsetting community relations. We promise never to forget the Holocaust, while simultaneously turning a blind eye to the abuse, perhaps genocidal abuse, of the Uyghur Muslims in China. We're already being encouraged to turn a blind eye to the locking down of Austria's unvaccinated. Will we turn...
So this guy, he gave him a 5-minute platform. Which is fine, except for the Uyghur issue, which that has been debunked by many a journalist. The issues that are happening in that area are real as far as we can look at, but we can't call it out because we are doing the same thing to our minorities in America. So they're not doing anything worse than what we're doing, and in the Western cultures to say something like that. I mean, Israel's doing the same thing to Palestine. We're doing the same thing to black and brown people, and good luck with that, guys, because he's just not pushing back on any of these. These are little frames of stuff that he could at least stop and say, hey, I don't believe in that part. But he's gonna play the whole video, not just the COVID part, because of his rant. He does some. This is just two examples. I've seen a few lately, and it's hyper focusing on COVID is the problem. That's the biggest issue. Hyper focusing on COVID is making him lose track of other stories and lose track of the possibilities that some of the information that you're getting are from people like this. These couple are not the best examples. So try not to play into a narrative, or at least double check, triple check.